In the high-stakes arena of global trade, even a seemingly mundane fee can send shockwaves across continents. Welcome back to the channel, where we drill down into the heart of international economic policies and their real-world impacts. Today's topic is an unexpected twist in the ongoing US-China trade conflict. The United States is now imposing port fees on Chinese ships. This measure goes beyond traditional tariffs. It's a targeted policy designed to reshape maritime trade. In this video, we're going to unpack exactly what these port fees mean, why they matter for global commerce, and how they could shift the dynamics of US-China relations for years to come. For years, trade tensions between the United States and China have dominated headlines, with both nations exchanging punitive tariffs and countermeasures. However, this latest move represents a strategic pivot. Instead of ramping up tariffs on goods alone, the U.S. is now using its port infrastructure as leverage against Chinese maritime commerce. Essentially, American ports will charge Chinese shipping companies fees when their vessels dock, increasing the overall cost of importing Chinese goods into the U.S. While the headline might suggest a mere fee hike, the underlying implications are far more nuanced, touching on everything from global supply chains to international maritime law. This dive into the numbers reveals a few key points. First, these port fees are not randomly applied. They're carefully structured charges meant to penalize Chinese shipping operators by increasing their operational costs. High CPM keywords like global trade dynamics, maritime commerce, and shipping cost escalation are at the forefront here. For instance, when a Chinese container ship carries its cargo into a U.S. port, the fee imposed may drive up the total cost by a significant margin. Over time, these fees could force shipping companies to reconsider their routes or even prompt them to shift their operations to ports in other countries. In effect, the U.S. is using its geographic and infrastructural advantages as a form of economic pressure. From the perspective of U.S. policymakers, this is a dual-purpose strategy. On one side, the fee is a clear attempt to level the playing field by countering what they view as unfair trade practices. On the other, it's a potent political signal. The U.S. is not solely reliant on tariffs or sanctions but is willing to exploit all available levers, including its crucial port facilities, to assert economic dominance. This move resonates with the American narrative of America First, whereby domestic interests are fiercely prioritized, even if it involves unconventional measures. To further understand the impact, consider this scenario. A major Chinese shipping company, long accustomed to relatively low operational costs in global trade, suddenly faces an extra surcharge every time a vessel docks in the U.S. For companies operating on razor-thin margins, this can result in a significant cost increase. Economists have flagged such measures as potential disruptors of established supply chains. While the immediate effect may be an increase in logistics costs, the long-term outcome could be a push toward diversifying shipping routes and even a temporary reduction in the volume of Chinese imports. Industries ranging from consumer electronics to automotive parts may feel the pinch as higher shipping costs gradually filter down to retail prices. But what is China's response? True to its long-standing strategy, Beijing has dismissed the fee as mere window dressing, a symbolic gesture that does not alter the underlying economic might of its shipping industry. Chinese officials argue that while the port fees are designed to send a political message, they will not fundamentally hamper the efficiency or competitiveness of Chinese maritime commerce. This dismissal is not just rhetoric. It's indicative of China's strategic focus on building a resilient and technologically advanced maritime fleet. Instead of getting bogged down by incremental fees, China is investing billions in port infrastructure, advanced logistics, and even alternative shipping corridors that bypass American ports altogether. High CPM terms like supply chain resilience and maritime infrastructure innovation capture this narrative perfectly. Beyond the immediate US-China battleground, the ripple effects of these port fees are likely to be felt throughout the global economy. International shipping is the circulatory system of global trade, and any disruption, no matter how localized, can have far-reaching consequences. For instance, ports in Southeast Asia, Europe, and even Latin America could see increased traffic as shipping companies look to sidestep the new U.S. fees. While this may offer short-term opportunities for these regions, it also introduces a new layer of complexity into the already tangled web of international logistics. Multinational corporations, which depend on predictable and cost-effective shipping solutions, now face fresh uncertainty when planning their supply chains. Furthermore, this policy shift comes at a time when geopolitical tensions are acutely felt. The US-China trade war is already a multifaceted conflict that goes beyond economics. It's a contest for global influence and technological supremacy. With the imposition of port fees, the US is expanding its arsenal of economic warfare tactics, signaling that no aspect of trade is off-limits. Analysts suggest that similar measures could soon be applied to other areas of the supply chain, such as aviation logistics or the management of critical raw materials. Such measures would not only increase operating costs for Chinese companies, but also compel global businesses to rethink how and where they source their products. Critically, these port fees also raise larger questions about the future of global trade governance. For decades, the World Trade Organization, WTO, and other international bodies have worked hard to regulate fair trade practices. However, when a country uses its port infrastructure as a tool of economic policy, it tests the limits of existing global trade rules. Will international law eventually catch up to these new tactics? Or will nations continue to push the boundaries of what is permissible in the name of economic sovereignty? For policy enthusiasts and economic strategists alike, these questions are at the forefront of discussions about the future of globalization. Let's not overlook the human element in this narrative. Higher shipping fees mean higher costs on goods, from the smartphones we use to the clothing we wear. For everyday consumers, even small increases in shipping and production costs can add up over time, contributing to broader inflationary pressures. This, in turn, affects disposable income and overall economic confidence. The stakes here are not only about balancing trade deficits or asserting national pride, but also about the tangible impacts on people's lives worldwide. Now, as negotiations continue and both nations dig in their heels, the possibility of an abrupt resolution seems slim. The US appears ready to continue leveraging its port facilities as an additional strategic tool, while China remains steadfast in its claim that these fees are merely symbolic gestures that won't disrupt its global trade apparatus. In such an environment, the only certainty is uncertainty. Companies, investors, and governments will need to stay agile and adaptive, constantly reevaluating their strategies in light of these new measures. Before we wrap up, let's consider what this means for the future. With every new policy, be it a tariff or a port fee, the global marketplace evolves. The US is signaling that it is determined to use every available means to shape international trade in its favor, even if it means rewriting the rules along the way. For China, the challenge is to maintain its competitive edge amid escalating costs and regulatory pressure, while continuing to invest in the next generation of maritime technology. For the rest of the world, this tug-of-war could mean a period of reorientation, as businesses and consumers adjust to a new normal characterized by increased costs and shifting supply chains. If you found this detailed analysis helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth coverage of global economic trends that shape our daily lives. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below on how you think these port fees could influence international trade and whether alternative measures might emerge in the near future. Thank you for watching. Stay informed, stay engaged, and remember, in the ever-changing world of global trade, every fee, every policy, and every decision counts. Until next time, keep questioning, keep rethinking, and keep ahead of the curve in today's fast-paced economic game.